I would like to give you some important instructions before generation of the supply demand zone reports. There are several new members are joined and took the subscription, and probably you should not make some mistakes made by some of the earlier subscribers. At least you should learn from their mistakes. So probably the first 10 minutes time I am going to give you all the instructions so that you will make use of these reports in an effective way. I am Pratap here. Today is 15th February 2025. The first mistake you should not make, that is about the dividend adjustment. In lesson 9.1 in our training course, I clearly instructed we all must use dividend adjusted data in our charts. But unfortunately, many of your your brokers, many of your broker softwares, they are not having a dividend adjusted data. TradingView is supporting, but the problem is they are charging the money. That is one of the reasons why many of you are not opting TradingView. Fine. But your broker softwares are supporting charts. That's why you are looking into their charts, but they are not providing dividend adjustment. When they are not providing dividend adjustment, the data, the candles that are displayed in your charts are not accurate. There will be some difference. Before you take the actual planned trade, your stop loss will hit. Because your stop loss is hit, you are exiting the trade. After that, prices are moving some more down. The actual dividend adjusted data fine-tuned areas, prices are entering, and then from there it is started moving. And you are thinking that your trade is stopped out and then market is moving up. And after making so many mistakes, you are realizing. How you are realizing? Because every day in my analysis, HLK analysis videos, the levels I marked and the levels you marked, you are finding some differences. And then you are realizing some data is a difference. The data difference is mainly because of the dividend adjustment. See, there is a big discussion is going on. In Q&A 3 video, open the Q&A 3 video, go to the comment section. Sometimes this comment may not be displayed. Then go to the options, comment options, so select the option new comments. Then you can able to find these comments. See, there is a big thread going on, discussions. Today only they started the discussion. And all these are all some of the earlier members who used our software. They also expressed their experiences, how they interacted with their brokers. So if possible, go to Q&A 3 video and read this entire conversation, then you will understand. This is a dividend adjusted is a very important. Because before TradingView, I used a NeoStock. Almost 15 years I used NeoStock. At the time they provided dividend adjusted data. Initially I did not understand. When I was interacting with one of their members, then they told me how important dividend adjusted is. And then I realized and I did some more R&D. And finally I came to know how prices are changing after dividend adjusted. What are the reasons behind that? I think maybe I explained those reasons in lesson 9.1. So when the values are changed, obviously the changed values you need to update on your charts. But unfortunately, none of the brokers, it seems, from your discussion I understood, None of these brokers are providing dividend adjusted data. But with the accurate data, if you are analyzing your charts, how do you expect the profits? See, this is a big game. Stock market is a very big game. If you really want to make good profits, you should maintain good tools. You should not compromise in getting the best tools that are available in the market. Don't look for everything as a free. Every freely available may not be helping you 100%. See, today we are providing free training course. You are very happy with that. But why I am providing this free training course? Because I want to promote my software. That is what I already told a long back. In the Q&A one video itself, I told this point. That is the reason why. Because I want to see some promotion I am doing. Okay, the advantage you are getting maybe a very highly experienced course you are learning with free of cost. That is the benefit. It's a win-win situation. You come to know about NeoStock. At the same time, you also got an opportunity to learn a highly expensive course with free of cost. But sometimes you may not get win-win situation. See, your brokers are providing the charts with free of cost. But the important feature, dividend adjustment, is not there. Then what will happen? You won't be marking your levels properly on your charts. When you don't mark properly on your charts, how do you expect the profits? Many times your market zones will be stopped out because of the differences in the dividend adjustment. At least you take, in case if you are not using TradingView, take the basic plan. If anybody is providing dividend adjusted, at least if you know, recommend to the other members also. Please tell them. Suppose with free of cost, if you are getting any broker provided charts with the dividend adjustment, then you recommend. Other members in our group also will get benefit. In case if nobody is providing, at least you take the basic plan. See, TradingView will be giving you a very big discounts during Black Friday. I don't know any other day they provide or not. Or another thing is, maybe first time you send a mail to this TradingView team, sometimes they will be giving you discounts for the Indian customers. Do something, but get the best tool. So ultimately, see, you have to get the profit. One day you should not realize, after so many stopped out trades, whatever the money you lost, it should not be more than the cost you are paying for TradingView subscription. See how bad it is going to be. See, ultimately our goal is to make money. When you want to make money, you should invest some money for buying the tools. Why you invested some money for taking NeoStock software subscription? Because it is helping you quickly identify the zones. If you want to identify the zones, you need to spend several days of time. You need to analyze the charts. You need to analyze the 200 plus stocks in F&O companies. If that is the case, what will happen? So much of time will be wasted. To save your time, the software generated reports you are using. And another advantage, the biggest advantage for our software is it is able to identify high liquidity zones. And it is able to identify bullish and bearish trade setup zones. It is able to identify supply demand zone chain for NIFTY and BANKNIFTY. These are all the advantages we have. So that way quickly you will analyze those zones. Our software is not providing any recommendations. They are providing you the right zones. Those zones you will analyze and you fine tune and you identify the levels. While fine tuning, because of not having a dividend adjustment, if you identify wrong data, what will happen? Your fine-tuned zones will be violated. So that's why. See, why I'm spending so much time on this, only on this particular time is, there are people, earlier subscribers, they lost their money. Even I don't know, they are losing the money because of this. Apart from, because I know, I already took care. in lesson 9.1 by clearly explaining how important dividend adjustment. Even after I clearly explained, still many people ignore that point. But I don't want same thing happen to you, because today very good number of people registered for this. More than the numbers what currently I am having all the subscribers, more than that number you got the subscription today. Within one day. So that's why I don't want you people get into the wrong side. See, if you get profit, what will happen? You will continue my service, right? So obviously I should take care of that, right? Maybe I can't give you any recommendations because I am not an authorized person to give you recommendation. Otherwise I will get into issues. But at least I can give you right advice for not making mistakes. That is what I am trying now. At least you should learn from the mistakes made by the people, the earlier people. Their conversation you can listen in this chart in the comment section of Q&A 3 video. You know how to access, right? Q&A 3 videos. Go to our NeoStock homepage. Go to the playlist. In the playlist you have all the playlist. Our course playlist is here. Q&A playlist. You view the full playlist. Now we are in the Q&A playlist. Go to the bottom. Here you have the third video. Go to the video, open the comment section. If the comment is not visible, click the option display with the newest first. Then you will be able to see that conversation. Okay, this is the first thing you should take care of. And the second important thing, and it is very, very important, because I have seen some people made mistakes earlier. I don't want you people make that mistake. So what is that mistake? While analyzing the charts, many people are selecting F&O stocks. You should not analyze F&O stocks. You have to analyze only equity stocks. Maybe you may trade in F&O. I already told you how to trade in F&O by analyzing the equity stocks. What is that I suggested? When price is entering into the equity stock, at the time whatever the F&O price, you just buy. And when price is reaching the target, whatever the price in the F&O, you just exit. Similarly, if the price is it is crossing the stop loss. While crossing the stop loss, whatever the price, with that price you exit. Whatever the loss, you just accept that loss. Anyway, you are not taking risk beyond 2%, right? This is how you should plan your trades. Immediately you have to, whatever the price. If you are using TradingView, use the TradingView alerts, so that before prices are entering into your equity charts where you marked, maybe just 0.2% or before 3% before, you keep an alert. TradingView alerts are there. Automatically alert will be displayed on your screen. Then immediately you go to the chart. At the same time, you will also open your your broker's window for placing your trades. You will be ready. The moment price entered into the zone, immediately, equity zone, immediately you place order in the F&O. This is how you have to do. Why I am not suggesting you to look into F&O? Because F&O, premiums will be added. The premiums will be changing, not based on the demand and supply zone. The premiums will be changing based on the other factors, other mathematical related factors. That is the reason why they will not give you the exact demand and supply related analysis in F&O related charts. That's why we should never use F&O charts while analyzing your charts. Always you have to depend on equity charts. But you may place your trades as per the suggestion I gave you in F&O. But the disadvantage is placing limit orders well before might be a big problem here. Like before market starts placing an order, that leads to some issues. But anyway, follow this suggestion. And what else you need to take care? The most important thing, how to use these reports are very, very important. For that, recently I started a series in lesson 29, and the series is not yet completed, but at least what is a minimum essential things that you can identify. First, let us go to this supply demand zone price action, our course playlist. In this playlist, see the recent lesson 29. For the first video, how to make use of our HLQ zone analysis, how I analyze my sample analysis I have shown, and their performance we have seen in the next video. This is for HLQ zone strategy, and where I explained this HLQ zone strategy in lesson 21. So that's why whoever wants to use HLQ zone strategy, you all must complete lesson 21. See, lesson 21, initially I explained about how our NeoStock software report structure looks like. That everything I explained, all the columns, abbreviations I explained in this video. Second video I explained types of HLQ zones. I categorized it into high priority and low priority. And the high priority, whatever I listed, those zones only you will be using in HLQ zone strategy. And that strategy clearly I explained. And whatever the concepts I explained in this strategy, they are valid only for HLQ zones. You can't use those concepts for bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly, daily or hourly income trades. You can't use them. So that's why you should be very careful. And moreover, this HLQ zone strategy, whatever the zones our software is listing, those zones are valid only on the next trading session. You can't use after 2 days or 3 days. I'm talking this is only for HLQ zones. You may say, can't we use? You can use, but you can't expect 80% success rate. Immediately next day if trades are coming, those zones are having at least 80% success rate. Even you can take a trade after 2 days or 3 days, but you don't expect 80% success rate. Slowly the success rate may reduce. So that is the reason why I'm suggesting not to use those HLQ zones identified by the software only in the next day, but after that you cannot use. That's why this is the main reason behind suggesting not carry forward those zones unless our software identifies. So this is what you should remember, HLQ zones. So that's why everybody, without completing lesson 21.3, you can't use HLQ zone. And the next 2 videos I gave examples how I fine-tuned the zones. I explained here. Next, HLQ zone strategy, some additional things I have explained like price action close, aggressive trade setups, dynamic zone creations, bull and bear traps, and most importantly use this dynamic fine-tuned zones. Everybody complete this video. It is very important. Sometimes HLQ zone during the live market, new zones will be created, and those fine-tuned zones will be giving you again trade on the same day. Initially, while analyzing, you may not get that zone, but live market, a new zone will be created. The fine-tuned zone I'm talking. Then prices will again come back, and then they will be started moving up and giving you profits. And aggressive trade setups, I request you try to avoid them, unless the aggressive trade setup is like a 5 minutes high liquidity zone. 5 minutes high liquidity zone aggressive trade setups you can use. Remaining setups, you please wait, because many people previously made mistakes. The reason is I realized you are not easily understanding those concepts. You feel like you understood the concepts, but you are making a lot of mistakes while using aggressive trade setup. Aggressive trade means nothing. The zones are not fine-tuned zones. You have a 5-minute zone, but that is not inside the 15-minute zone. But still you can take trade. Only in special scenarios you can take trade. Remaining scenarios, they will be easily violated. When you don't analyze what happened, if you take a trade, the zone will be violated, it will be stopped out, and you are thinking that the zones are not working. The moment it stopped out, you will get disturbed. So many things will happen. So that's why I'm strongly suggesting you don't go with aggressive trade setups at the initial stage. Anyway, you will be every day listening my HLQ zone analysis videos. With the help of those videos, you will learn, you gain some experience. After that, slowly you get clarity. And then you can also start planning aggressive trades. So initially, HLQ zone traders should use only fine-tuned zones only. Or if you want to take a 5-minute zone directly, at least that should be a high liquidity zone. Okay, I made it clear about usage of HLQ zones. Then what about bullish and bearish trade setup related? Like hourly, monthly, weekly, daily income trades. So that series just started. I started with daily income trade, bullish and bearish trade setups. How to use, I explained in this video. Probably after completion of this video recording, our report generation video, after that I will complete the next video recording, that is lesson 29.2.2. So in lesson 29.2.1, whatever we analyzed, maybe some of those zones we got profit, some of the zones might have been stopped out, and some of the zones might not have been executed. Are they valid? Maybe some are valid, some are not valid. When they are not valid, that you must know. If you don't know when a zone is not valid, simply next time prices are coming to that zone, you will take the trade. After that, your trade will be stopped out. So all those points I will discuss in the next video. That is a very, very important video. And whatever you learn in lesson 29.2.1 video and the next video, lesson 29.2.2 video, whatever you learn, same concept as it is, you can apply to remaining income trades. But I will be recording even remaining income trades also in the coming days. But now they are not available. So that's why I'm saying. Because some of you might be only weekly income trade traders. Some of you might be only monthly income trade traders. At the time, you should not feel that video is not available. Until then, I may not be using effectively. You should not feel like that. The reason is, whatever we are discussing in lesson 29.2.1 and 29.2.2 videos, same concepts as it is, you can apply for the remaining income trades. Please remember. Okay, if they are same, why I am going to record the remaining income trades in the coming days? What is the use? You may ask. Just to create an impression that okay, I am also listened. I am a WIT trader. Okay, I listened those videos to give you some confidence. That's it. Nothing more than that. If you listen these two videos, they are more than enough. You can apply same concepts for remaining. Only to build the confidence. Sometimes you may feel, okay, I didn't listen MIT related zones how to use, or WIT related zones how to use. You should not feel like that. That's why I am planning this, even though the content is similar to the lesson 29.2 videos, still I am going to release lesson 29.3 and 29.4. Okay, this is one thing. And third one, you will be asking, what about, I am a Nifty and Bank Nifty trader. How to use Nifty Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. That video also I will be releasing in this, but it will take some time to get into that video. But previously in the past, several videos I analyzed Nifty and Bank Nifty. Several videos, some 6-7 months back. Because nowadays I am not finding time, so I just stopped that activity. But those videos are available. Where they are available? Simple. Go to the playlist. You have a Nifty Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain playlist will be there. Where it is? See here, this is the one. Nifty Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Open this playlist. In this playlist, Nifty Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain detailed report will be there. See here, this is a quick analysis. There are some reports like detailed analysis. See, Bank Nifty analysis. The detailed analysis videos, mostly 1 hour videos they are. Quick analysis videos are continuation to the detailed. They are short videos. So that's why don't start with short videos. Start with the detailed video. Yeah, see here, top-down analysis. Nifty supply demand zone chain top-down analysis. This is a detailed analysis video. So go through this. This is also detailed analysis video for Nifty. Bank Nifty daily HLQ supply demand zone analysis. So Bank Nifty videos also I have given. Look into these headings, then you will get clarity in the thumbnails. See here, I have given the name detailed analysis. Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Almost 1 year back. So this is a detailed analysis. See Nifty supply demand zone chain 11th April. This is a detailed analysis. So go through that detailed analysis. In the analysis, how I didn't do my own analysis in these videos. Please remember, I didn't do my own analysis. I took the help of supply demand zone chain reports from Nifty and those supply demand zone chains from top down analysis, means from a monthly time frame onwards, I started drawing the zones. That way I analyzed the zones. Every zones provided by our zones. I gave highest importance to high liquidity zones. The 5 minutes high liquidity zones, 15 minutes high liquidity zones, 25 minutes high liquidity zones, or 75 minutes high liquidity zones. Why? Because high liquidity zones, we have a belief that at least 80% those zones might be having strong institutional order flows. So that way we are analyzing the charts and we are making use of those zones. See, you should also understand, sometimes high liquidity zones also will fail. 5 minutes high liquidity zones, sometimes they will also fail. Don't think that every 5 minute zone will work. These 5 minute zones, they have higher success rate compared to the other zones. That is the point you have to understand. It doesn't mean they have 100% success rate. If the 5 minutes high liquidity zone is a fine-tuned zone, it is having even more higher success rate. Suppose it is not a fine-tuned zone, that means that is an aggressive trade setup zone. That is not part of the 15 minute zone. Or both together not part of the 75 minute zone. In such kind of situation, those zones are aggressive trade setup zones. Those zones also high liquidity zones having higher success rate compared to the other zones. But fine-tuned 5 minutes high liquidity zones are having higher success rate. And normal high liquidity 5 minute zones are having a less success rate compared to fine-tuned 5 minutes high liquidity zones. Those points you should remember. So listen these videos, you will understand what I am trying to explain. Unless you listen, you may not get clarity what I am trying to explaining to you. So these are the things you should take care. So as a summary, what is that I told you? One is a dividend adjustment is must, otherwise your trade plans will be mostly they are 100% wrong. Second reason I told you, analyze only the equity charts. Don't analyze the futures or options charts. Those analysis is not accurate because of the premium values added into those charts. And number 3, what I suggested you? I suggested you complete the lesson 29 series in the training course. Lesson 29 series. Before you start using our NeoStock software report, so that better way you have to understand. And the fourth point, what is that? Nifty Bank Nifty is not yet completed. So I suggested you go to Nifty Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain playlist somewhere in May 2024 and April 2024. Some detailed analysis videos I made. Look into those videos. Go through those videos. That way how best you can make use of Nifty Bank Nifty, you will understand. So these are the minimum things you must take care. Because I don't want you people get into losing side. I want you people to get good success. If you get good success, you will continue your journey with me. Otherwise, you will get disappointed and you will be leaving, right? I don't want that to happen. I want all your people's association. When you make more money, you feel happy to pay the subscription charges. When you are losing money, you don't feel happy, right? But at the same time, remember, in supply demand zone chain, following the risk management is very, very important. If you follow the risk management, mostly you won't see failures in supply demand zone. You may lose 4 trades. Next trade, 5th one will save. Whatever the money you lost, everything it will recover. Why? Because you are taking less risk. Less than or equals to 2% you are taking, not more than 2% risk. But when you plan your trades, 3 times more, minimum 1:3 RR, sometimes 1:5 RR. Many times high liquidity zones will give you trades up to the 15 minutes target zone. That way you will get 1:9 RR, 1:8 RR. That kind of trades you will get many times HLQ zones. That way we earn more money in HLQ zones. But previously registered, some of the people lost the money because they didn't follow all these instructions. Even I don't know they are making mistakes until people are started expressing the kind of mistakes they made. Then I thought probably this is the right video I should talk about, because so many people today joined in this, took the subscription. So I don't want you people get into the trouble. First, what you do, observe carefully, start using. Maybe few days you do paper trading, few days. See how well your analysis is working. Then you can start using in your real trade. If you are already experienced person in trading, directly you can make use of these reports, not an issue. But recently you completed the course, you practiced, you did paper trading. That's why I suggested everybody, you must complete paper trading. Why I provided training instructions at our Telegram channel? Because I want you people follow the actual cycle. You should get 100% confidence. With confidence, you make very less mistakes. When you make less mistakes, you have higher success rate in stock market when you are doing your own analysis. Also remember, everybody should remember, I am not providing any suggestions or recommendations to anyone. Because my goal is to give you software generated reports, that's it. I don't have any authorization to analyze the charts and recommendations. That is number one. Second one, I am fully against providing the recommendations. I know recommendations doesn't work in stock market. People think if somebody give recommendations, it will save my time. But actually in reality, that doesn't work. People who took recommendations, many of them, they lost the money. When you analyze on your own, or if you have a financial SEBI registered financial advisor, if you are taking any suggestions, according to their strategies, you can plan your trades. Their suggestions you will be doing buying and selling. But when you are doing trading on your own, you should build proper skill. Without building the skill, you won't get the success. That skill you build in this course. But now how best you are making use without making mistakes is very, very important. Okay, this is the conclusion. Hope everybody understood what you have to do to get the profits. Now let me generate the reports. So first report is finding the stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. So during this process, I will be generating for higher time frames from yearly to daily time frame. Generally we are consider them as higher time frames. So those time frames, I am also going to find price closed inside demand and supply zones. And also I am going to explain, I am going to generate daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones. We will be discussing while generating. And after that I will generate NIFTY BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. After that I will generate bullish and bearish trade setups for all the 4 income trades. Finally at the end of the report I will generate the stop buffers based on daily ATR. So you can use those daily ATR stop buffer values for fixing your stop buffer values in your trades. So this is the structure. And if you are experienced supply demand zone traders, because some of our subscribers are experienced old time supply demand zone traders, and they will not be using any of the automatically generated bullish and bearish trade setups. They will be preparing their own trade plans by using price closed inside the weekly demand zone or price closed inside the monthly demand zone, and during they prepare their trade plans. Once the trend is changed, immediately they will start entering these strategies. Also I'll be explaining in the coming days, because it is too early for you to understand those strategies without getting any good experience. But there are already experienced people, they prepare the zone. So for them, price closed inside demand and supply zones will be useful to them. And you people, if you want to try something, you can start practicing. But before that, I should complete this series, so it will take some time to get into that kind of discussions in lesson 29. And others can ignore those reports. What you can do, once you first 1 or 2 reports, you go through the entire report. Once you choose what kind of reports you are going to use, every day what you can do, you can pause the video directly, you can skip the video to your required section, and there you look into the reports and you can mark the zones. You need not listen my commentary every day. You got the point. But first time at least start listening what I am explaining, even though it will take some time, but it's worth listening to understand all these strategies. How I am generating the reports, you will be able to understand. Okay, so I'm starting with the yearly time frame. Yearly time frame, there are no stocks near demand and supply zone, so directly I'm going to price closed inside the yearly demand zone. So we got 5 stocks. I'm giving you very few seconds time to watch the report. That's why you have to pause the video. Once you study these reports, you can proceed to the next report. Those who don't understand the structure of the report, you have to complete lesson 21.1. Because in that video I have explained all the columns, values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, next, yearly time frame, price closed inside the yearly supply zone. We don't have any stocks. So next time frame is half yearly, stocks near half yearly demand zone. We got 4 stocks. Okay, next, half yearly time frame, price closed, stocks near half yearly supply zone. We don't have any stocks. Next, half yearly time frame, price closed inside the half yearly demand zone. We got 8 stocks. The big giant Reliance is also inside the half yearly demand zone. Next, half yearly time frame, price closed inside the half yearly supply zone. We got 2 stocks. So this is about half yearly time frame. Next time frame is quarterly, stocks near quarterly demand zone. We got 7 stocks. Next, quarterly time frame, stocks near quarterly supply zone. We got 3 stocks. Next time frame is for quarterly time frame, price closed inside the quarterly demand zone. We got 42 stocks. So first 22 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 42 stocks are filtered. So those who wants to analyze quarterly zones, the list is very big. So that's why, to save their efforts, what I am doing, further filtering these stocks based by setting high probability parameters. High probability parameters should help us to get more success. So one high probability parameter that gives better success rate is EMA. So that's why I want to filter based on the quarterly EMA Confluence. So in the EMA filter, at quarterly time frame, I am setting whether quarterly demand zone is having quarterly EMA Confluence or not. We are verifying. And you know that you already learned in your training course. EMA Confluence should be used only in the trending market, not in the sideways. Sideways EMA does not give any advantage. So that's why in the quarterly time frame, I don't want to select sideways trend. I'm telling the trend should be either up or down. Now the list is come down to 22. Now instead of analyzing 48 stocks, analyzing these 22 stocks are much easier. So this is the way this EMA filter will help us. Probably these zones will be having higher success rate compared to the other filtered zones. I'm not saying they won't be successful. They will also be successful. Some high liquidity zones might be there in those zones. But this is based on the EMA Confluence we are filtering. Some people use only high liquidity zones and they trade only in that. They don't bother about this EMA and all. Some people look for both the combination. See, some of these zones are high liquidity zones. Where we can find high liquidity zones? In the zone column. The demand zone. See, this is a high liquidity zone. This is a high liquidity zone. So that way zone column you have to use. But all these zones are having EMA Confluence. Those who use both these combinations, they will analyze only these 3 stocks. Remaining stocks, they don't bother. This is how we save our time with the help of the software. Okay, next, quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. 3 stocks are filtered. Let us find if any of these 3 stocks are having a quarterly EMA Confluence, the supply zones with quarterly EMA. So in the quarterly time frame, I am setting the filter whether quarterly supply zone is having quarterly EMA Confluence or not. At the same time, trend on the quarterly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. All the 3 stocks filtered. That means all these 3 stocks are having quarterly supply zones, having quarterly EMA Confluence. Who will use these stocks? Those who plan for short trades, they will be using these zones. Those who wants to plan for long trades, they will use demand zones. That is how experienced people will be using these zones. You are yet to learn these strategies. These are all the advanced level. But anyway, some of the analysis our software itself is doing. Okay, next time frame is monthly. So first, stocks near monthly demand zone. We got 13 stocks. Next, monthly time frame. Stocks near monthly supply zone. We got 1 stock. Next, monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly demand zone. We got 57 stocks. It's a big list. Okay, for the first 20 stocks in the list, I'm scrolling the list down. So total 57 stocks. But analyzing these 57 stocks might be very hard. So that's why what we are doing, based on the EMA Confluence, we want to further filter this list. So I'm going back, and in the EMA Confluence at monthly time frame, I'm setting the filter if monthly demand zone is having monthly EMA Confluence or not. And also trend on monthly time frame, I'm selecting either up or down. With these filters, we got 25 stocks. Now the list is reduced. Now from this list, you can further select stocks based on the high liquidity zones or on any other combinations you like. That way you select and analyze. Okay, first 22 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 25 stocks. Okay, next monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone. We got 6 stocks. We can further filter based on a monthly supply zone having monthly EMA Confluence. So let's filter. I'm going back in the EMA Confluence at monthly time frame. I'm setting the filter monthly supply zone having monthly EMA Confluence or not. At the same time, trend at monthly time frame I'm setting up or down. With these filters we got 2 stocks. So these 2 monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA Confluence. Out of these 2, one monthly supply zone is already pierced 3 times. And those who land pierced zone strategies, they can apply your strategies on this stock and you can analyze the chart. Lesson 28, you land pierced zone strategies. Okay, this is about monthly time frame. Next time frame is weekly. Stocks near weekly demand zone. We got 28 stocks. So first 17 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 28 stocks. Okay, next weekly time frame, stocks near weekly supply zones. We got 6 stocks. Okay, next weekly time frame, price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We got a big list. 90 stocks are closed currently in the weekly demand zones. If these weekly demand zones are having a strong institutional order flows, probably they may push the market up again. Okay, for the quick reference, I'm scrolling the list down. Excuse me. So just a minute, let me drink some water. Okay, so total 90 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list. How? Simply EMA technique. How many of these weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA Confluence? So I'm going back in the EMA Confluence, this time at weekly time frame. I'm setting the filter. Weekly demand zone is having weekly EMA Confluence or not. At the same time, trend also at weekly time frame should not be sideways. So it can be up or down. With these filters, see, list is come down to 13. 19 stocks, we got the list, but EMA Confluence, the demand zones are having with only 13 stocks. So those people who experienced people, when they plan their long related trade plans, they will analyze in these 13 stocks. Probably they will use this weekly zone as either HTF zone or ITF zone. That way they will prepare WIT trades or MIT trade. Manually they will analyze. Same thing, our software also analyzing. But they do manual analysis and then they prepare. Some people have some advanced strategies like confirmation techniques and all. Those things you will learn, but it takes some time to get into that level. Okay, this is about price closed inside weekly demand zone. Next, weekly time frame. Price closed inside weekly supply zone. We got 6 stocks. Out of these 6, how many supply zones are having weekly EMA confluence? We can further filter. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence or not, and also trend on weekly time frame is up or down. We got only one stock, but this zone is a pierced zone. This zone is useful to the members who do analysis based on the pierced zone strategies. Okay, but weekly reports are not completed. Today is the end of the week. Because it is end of the week, I will generate some more additional weekly reports, like how many weekly zones are tested during this week, demand or supply zones, and how many stocks are having newly created weekly demand zones and supply zones. What are those stocks? And also few zones I will because weekly candles are ready now. So during this week, zone confluence, weekly, monthly and quarterly zone confluence supported stocks. So such kind of additional reports I am going to generate, because there are some people, subscribers trade only based on the weekly zones. These reports will be useful to them, because they opted for weekend reports only at the end of the week. Okay, now the next weekly time frame, let us find the stocks that are having tested weekly demand zones. The stocks having demand zones tested during this week. See, this week 56 stocks are tested. These stocks having demand zones. Let me quickly scroll the list down. See, some of the demand zones are tested and price closed inside the demand zone. Some of the demand zones are tested and price is now started moving towards the supply zone, weekly supply zone. So total 56 stocks. Okay. Apart from this, the next report, weekly time frame, the stocks tested having the supply zones tested during this week. We got 3 stocks. So these 3 stocks having supply zones are tested during this week. Look into this, Ashok Leyland. It tested the demands, it tested the supply zone and then price moved to the pierced demand zone. So after testing the weekly zone, it came down, maybe around 5% price is down. This is how you can understand by looking into all these values. See, this one tested and price closed inside the weekly supply zone. This one tested the supply zone and now it started moving towards the demand zone. Price came out of the weekly zone and started moving towards the demand zone. Okay, this is based on how the zones are tested. Next one is, that is very important, identifying the newly created zones. Actually, this report is not exactly newly created zones it will display. It will display the stocks having newly created. Mostly those zones are newly created, mostly. Because some zones, sometimes LOTL zones will be created inside. At the time, the zone which is nearest to the current price will be displayed by our report. So that way, the newly created zone may not be displayed in the report. But most of the time, 90% scenarios, newly created zones will be displayed in the screen. Because our software always displays the zone that is near to the current price. If the newly created zone is an LOTL zone, inside the zone, obviously the newly created zone won't be displayed in the report. But still the stock will be having newly created. If it is not displayed, always assume this zone is having a LOTL zone. Simple logic. So next, weekly time frame. Let us identify the stocks having newly created weekly demand zones. Only one demand zone is created this week. What does it indicate? This indicates this week demand is not stronger. Maybe supply could be stronger. Suppose supply zone also you got only one zone. What does it mean? Maybe this week demand and supply are equal. Probably that is the reason why all base candles are created. No zones are confirmed this week. That way you can understand. Okay. So this week this is the stock, the weekly zone. Is it a newly created zone? Look into the leg out candle. The week open is 10th. See, always it displays the week open timestamp, not closing timestamp. Any candle, in any charts, even trading view also, the week open candles will be, the timestamp will be displayed. You may think today is 15th, how it is displaying 10th February. Actually, 10th February is the open, with this week open timestamp. So this zone is created during this week. Okay, next, for weekly time frame, let us find the stocks having newly created weekly supply zones. See, 71 newly created supply zones are there. That's why you have to understand there was a huge supply in the market this week. Supply is very strong. Nifty 50 is also having a newly created weekly supply zone. But interesting thing is, these weekly supply zones might have been created near the zone, near the monthly demand zone, or maybe inside the monthly demand zone also, because currently Nifty closed inside the monthly demand zone. If a supply zone is created inside a monthly zone, what will happen? Suppose if the demand is strong, what will happen to the supply zone? Supply zone will be violated. The moment supply zone is violated, what will happen? Supply zone trend will be changed to sideways from downtrend, because at present market is down, right? So that is an indication that a changing in the direction, market direction. Of course, there are times, again from sideways, once again downtrend will be continued. But many times, from downtrend to sideways and sideways to uptrend. So very interesting. So these are the first 15 stocks. I am scrolling the list. So total 71 stocks filtered. That means these 71 stocks are having newly created weekly supply zones. So this is about a weekly time frame. Next time frame, there is one more report, two more reports I have to generate in weekly. So weekly time frame. Now I am not selecting any of these options. First I want to filter the zones based on the zone confluence. So in the demand zone confluence, first three filters I want to set. First filter is weekly zone should be inside the monthly zone. That means overlap with monthly. And also weekly zone should also overlap with quarterly. And monthly also should overlap with quarterly. That means all the three time frames, weekly, monthly, quarterly, all three are overlapped with each other. That is what zone confluence. Let's filter. And this should be for demand zones. Even if you don't select, not a problem. See total how many? 42 stocks are filtered. That means Nifty 50 also. Nifty 50 weekly zone is inside the monthly zone. And monthly zone is inside the quarterly zone. That means demand is very strong. That is one indication. I am scrolling the list down. So total 42 stocks are filtered. You may ask a question, can we further filter this list? Yes. How? Here the logic is simple. Weekly is inside monthly, both together inside quarterly. That means quarterly is the higher time frame. If quarterly zone is having quarterly EMA confluence, then these weekly zones are even more high priority zones. Let us identify. So I am going back in the EMA confluence at quarterly time frame. I am selecting the filter. Quarterly demand zone is having quarterly EMA confluence or not. Why? Because weekly and monthly together part of the quarterly zone. At the same time, the trend on the quarterly should not be sideways. It should be either up or down. So with these filters, how many we got? 22 stocks we got. Earlier 42 stocks we got. Now the list is reduced to 22. Now those who wants to analyze weekly zones, you can focus on these zones as the zones might be having stronger institutional order flows. Okay, first 16 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 22 stocks. Similarly, I will generate for supply zones also. Supply zone confluence. So entry time frame is weekly. Entry zone is supply zone, and we should apply the filters to supply zone confluence. Weekly, monthly and quarterly. So in the supply zone confluence, I am setting 3 filters. First filter is weekly supply zone is having monthly supply zone confluence or not. And a weekly supply zone having quarterly supply zone confluence or not, and also monthly supply zone having quarterly supply zone or not, with all the 3 filters. All confluence should be there, then only it displays. You got 10 stocks. In these 10 stocks, these weekly supply zones are overlapped with monthly, both together overlapped with quarterly. That is what zone confluence. That means these are the fine-tuned zones. These weekly zones are fine-tuned zones inside the quarterly zone. That is how you have to understand. Okay, among these 10, how many of these quarterly supply zones are having quarterly EMA confluence? Based on that, we can further filter this list. So in the EMA confluence, at quarterly time frame, because weekly together with monthly part of the quarterly, that's why we are setting quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA confluence or not, and the trend on the quarterly time frame is either up or down, but not sideways, should not be. You got only 2 stocks, and moreover both these weekly zones are pierced zones, and those zones are eligible for applying pierced zone strategies. Okay, this is about weekly time frame. Now let's move on to the daily time frame. Those who are looking for high liquidity zones, now you can get from here. High liquidity zone strategy. So entry time frame daily, let us find the stocks near to the daily demand zone. So total we got 23 stocks. So let us identify high liquidity zones from this list. Angel 1 is having a high liquidity daily demand zone. Grasim is having a high liquidity daily demand zone. Hindustan Unilever is having a high liquidity daily demand zone. Indian Hotels is having a high liquidity daily demand zone. JSW Energy is having a high liquidity demand zone. LTF, L&T Finance, is having a high liquidity demand zone. NBCC is having a high liquidity daily demand zone. Sinjan is a pierced zone, so it is not valid. And Union Bank is also having a high liquidity daily demand zone. So total we identified 8 high liquidity daily demand zones from this list. So carefully you should fine tune these zones. While fine tuning, make sure your charts are having dividend adjusted data. Otherwise these fine tuned 5-minute zones will be wrong and mostly they might be violated. So be careful. Okay, this is about daily stocks near daily demand zones. Next, daily time frame. Let us find the stocks near daily supply zone. We got 5 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity supply zones. We don't have any high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay, next, daily time frame. Price closed inside the daily demand zone. We got 84 stocks. Nifty Bank also closed inside the daily, but that is a pierced demand zone, pierced twice. Maybe you can look into what is the reasons behind the pierced, any pierced zone strategies. So Bank Nifty traders can apply pierced zone strategies on this stock. Okay, I'm scrolling this list quickly for the reference purpose, and then we will further filter based on daily EMA Confluence. So total 84 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on the daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. So I am going back in the EMA Confluence at daily time frame. I am setting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence or not. And trend on the daily time frame I am setting either up or down, but not sideways. So with these filters, now the list is come down to 16 stocks. See, you have an initial list 82 stocks. The moment you set EMA filter, the list is drastically come down to 16. Now people will analyze how this will be useful. There are experienced people, they will be using this daily zone as a HTF zone because it is having EMA Confluence. Zone having EMA Confluence, mostly they will use as a HTF zones, and then they prepare their trade plans. Bullish trade setup plans you can use. Some people use counter trend trade setup. You haven't learned those concepts yet. They are the most advanced level strategies. You will be learning in future. Some people use sideways trade setup plans. Probably that you will be learning in the next lesson after lesson 29. Lesson 30, you may be learning sideways trade setups. These are the way people will be experienced, people will be using. Price closed inside the zones. Okay, next. Daily time frame. Price closed inside the daily supply zone. We got 5 stocks. Out of these 5, how many of these daily supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence? Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence at daily time frame, daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence or not, and trend on the daily time frame is either up or down. With these filters, we got 2 stocks. So these 2 daily supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence. And moreover, both stocks are having daily trend as downtrend. Because downtrend, some people use this daily zone as a ITF zone. That way they prepare their trade setups. Because ITF trend is down, overall trend generally we see in ITF. This is how experienced people will be using these zones. Why I'm giving overview, let's see, in future at some point of time you should also get into that club. Which club? Experienced people's club. At least sometimes when I am talking about these points will be registered on your mind. If not now, at least in future these points will be useful to you. Okay, this is about daily time frame. Next time frame is 125 minutes. From now onwards, we will find only stocks near demand and supply zones. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone, we got 12 stocks. Next, 125 minutes time frame. Stocks near 125 minutes supply zone, we got 14 stocks. Okay, next time frame is 75 minutes. Stocks near 75 minutes demand zone, we got 16 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list, but here our goal is to find the high liquidity 75 minutes demand zones. Let us identify. Colpal is having a high liquidity zone. Idea is having a high liquidity zone. Kotak Bank is having a high liquidity zone. MGL is pierced, so it is not valid. And Sun TV is having a high liquidity zone. So total we identified 4 high liquidity 75 minutes demand zones from this list. Okay, next, for 75 minutes time frame, let us find the stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. We got 9 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity supply zones from this list. No supply zones. It seems we don't have any supply zones from both daily and 75 minutes time frame. I think all the trades are demand zone trades. Probably Nifty will go down by some more points tomorrow, or maybe on Monday. See, generally this is how high liquidity zones will indicate that exactly the high liquidity zone area prices will come. From there again prices will be started moving up, and probably these high liquidity zones price movement will add to the Nifty. That way Nifty index also will be started moving up. Such kind of things will takes place in general. But anyway, this is about 75 minutes time frame, and the next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone, we got 14 stocks. Next 25 minutes time frame, stocks near 25 minutes supply zone, we got 8 stocks. Okay, next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near 15 minutes demand zone, we got 15 stocks. Let's verify out of these 15, how many of these 15 minute zones are having ITF confluence. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, we got 7 stocks. Ignore pierced zones from this list. Okay, next 15 minutes time frame, stocks near 15 minutes supply zone, we got 5 stocks. Out of these 5, how many are having ITF supply zone confluence? Let us filter. That is 15 minutes supply zone confluence with 75 minutes supply zone. I am enabling the filter. We got 2 stocks. Okay, next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone. 11 stocks are filtered. Let us verify how many of these demand zones are having ITF confluence. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. We got 6 stocks. This is a pierced zone. Okay, next 5 minutes time frame. Stocks near 5 minutes supply zone. We got 11 stocks. Out of these 11, how many supply zones are having ITF confluence? Let us filter. That is 5 minutes supply zone with 15 minutes supply zone confluence. I am enabling this filter. We got 4 stocks. Out of these 4, first 2 are pierced supply zones. So this is about stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. Now in the next report, I am going to generate NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. Let me start with NIFTY. I am generating monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. See, always look into the zone column to find the high liquidity zones. Look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones. Always look into LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. This is how you should understand the remaining supply demand zone chain reports. And also don't forget to pause the video when you are moving from one report to another report, because I am giving you very few seconds time to watch the report. Okay, next, weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. (32) is the demand zone. Probably 25 minutes. Let me go back to 25 minutes. Generating 25 minutes supply demand zone chain. Where is the demand zone? 21. See, this is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price, and 20 is the nearest supply zone to the current closing price. If these demand zones are violated, next one is violated, next one. That is how prices will be moving down. Similarly, if this supply zone is violated, next supply zone, if that is also violated, next one. That way prices will be moving up. That's why always we should look into the nearest demand and supply zones. So that's why every time what I am doing, when more demand or supply zones are there, I am adjusting in the middle of the page, so that you get equal number of demand zones and supply zones. Something like this. Okay. So this is a 25-minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Here all these are all supply zones except 32. 32 nearest demand zone. So that's why let me put it on the center. First let me mark this. Okay. All the above are supply zones and below are the demand zones, and 31 and 32 are nearest demand and supply zones to current closing price, and both are high liquidity zones. But 32 is a pierced zone, 4 times it is pierced. Okay, next 5 minute supply demand zone chain for Nifty. All these are all supply zones. So let me scroll the list down. And here you have demand zone 54. So let me put it in the center so that we get equal number of demand and supply zones below and above. Okay. So this is a Nifty 5 minute supply demand zone chain. With this we have completed Nifty. Next we will look into Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. That is nothing but Nifty Bank. So I am generating monthly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, but before that, this 25 minute supply demand zone chain, where is the demand zone? 17. So okay, anyway it is in the center, no issues. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. 22 is the nearest demand zone to the closing price. Let me put it in the center. Okay. Next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. You have 30 is the demand zone, that is pierced demand zone to the current closing price. So let me put it in the center. Okay. So this is about Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. So with this we have completed both Nifty and Bank Nifty, and the next reports are about bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly, daily and hourly income trades. See, these are the concepts you already learned in our phase 2 training. Of course, phase 1 is a common concepts. Phase 1, whatever you learn, it is like a foundation. Using the foundation, you learn different strategies. The first strategy you learn, bullish and bearish trade setup. And these strategies already I explained in lesson 23, lesson 24 and lesson 27. Lesson 27 especially, the important strategies, how we can further filter high priority or high probability to get success, how to filter the zones, those strategies, everything you learn in those lessons. So you must complete all those lessons to understand these reports. Okay, first one is bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame is daily. Entry zone, demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at daily time frame, I am selecting bullish. And zone achievement, violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. And both the filters apply to daily demand zone. Pierced zone we are not filtering for daily time frame, because if anybody wants to use pierced zone strategies, at least you get. But below daily time frames, we don't use pierced zones. I mean pierced zone strategies. Minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. So we got 10 stocks. And these 10 stocks are currently supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. And entry time frame is daily. But out of these 10, there could be some high probability trade setup supported zones will be available. We need to filter them. That's why in lesson 27 you learn the strategy, pierced zone strategy. Zone confluence strategy. LTF ITF strategy, LTF ITF HTF strategy, and also further we mix them with EMA. I already clearly explained all those in lesson 27. So those strategies we will apply and we will further filter. First one is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. What is LTF daily? What is ITF weekly? So that's why I am setting the filter daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With this filter, got 8 stocks from the previous list. In all these 8 stocks, these daily zones are overlapped with weekly zones. And weekly trend is up in all these stocks, ITF trend. Because daily is overlapped with weekly, if weekly is having weekly EMA confluence, then those stocks could be even more high probability to get the success. I'm not saying they get success, but probability is high to get success. So let's filter. In the EMA confluence, at weekly time frame, because daily is overlapped with weekly. So that's why we are looking for weekly demand zone is having weekly EMA confluence or not. Anyway, trend is a uptrend for ITF. No need to check for the trend filtering. So we got the 3 stocks. So these 3 are having even more high probability to get success. See, we're not saying 100% they get success. Probability is higher compared to the other stocks. That is how you should understand. See, supply demand zones, 40% success rate is a very huge success. Even 50% fail, still we will get good profits. because of the risk management. But when you set these probabilities, probably the success rate will be improved to 55 or 60% level. That is how you should understand. Suppose if any of the zone is violated, stopped out, we should not feel, because they are high success, why they fail? High success, still they are within 60% success rate. Maybe it is failed means that could be comes under 40% failure rate related stock. That is how we have to understand. Always remember, failures are part of the game. Without stopped outs, you won't be having any successful trades. There will be some stopped out trades. If you are having fear of with that stopped out, we never get success. When any trade is stopped out, happily you have to accept, because you know the risk before taking the trade. When you know the risk, that means you are accepting that risk. When you accepted the risk means you should not feel bad for that. Anyway, you prepared for that, losing that money in case if your analysis goes wrong. Without preparing the risk, you cannot take the trade. Okay, this is based on LTF, ITF and EMA confluence. Next we will look for LTF, ITF, HTF zone confluence. Removing EMA filter, it is ITF specific. Now we should focus on HTF specific. So in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set: LTF, ITF, HTF. First filter LTF, ITF is already set in the previous report. Second filter LTF, ITF, that is LTF, HTF, that is a daily and the monthly confluence. And third filter is ITF and HTF zone confluence, that is weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters enabled, we got 2 stocks. These 2 are even more high probability trade setup if they are having EMA confluence. At present, these 2 stocks are having daily zones overlapped with weekly zone, both together overlapped with monthly zone, and monthly trend is up in both these stocks. If any of these monthly zones are having monthly EMA, then these stocks could be having even more high probability to get the success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence monthly time frame, I am selecting monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence or not, because both the trend are uptrend. You no need to filter on the trend. So both are filtered. Both HTF trend is uptrend. EMA confluence is there. In the uptrend, EMA confluence makes sense. And in that situation, in that particular monthly zones, this daily zone is overlapped. It's not overlapped directly, it overlapped along with weekly zone. That is what zone confluence, or we can say fine-tuned zones in our language. These daily zones are fine-tuned zones inside the monthly zone. Okay, this is about bullish trade setup, monthly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup, monthly income trade. Entry time frame daily. Entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup, at daily I am selecting bearish. And zone achievement, violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. Both the filters are applied to daily supply zone. Let's filter. We got 4 stocks. These 4 stocks are currently supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade, and entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. So we have 4 daily supply zones. Out of these 4, how many are having even high priority? We need to check. Already these zones, out of 4, 3 are having high liquidity zones. But even then, we should look based on the concept zone confluence. This time supply zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is a daily and weekly supply zone Confluence. So I'm enabling this filter. With this filter, all 4 stocks are filtered. That means in all these 4 stocks, these daily zones are overlapped with weekly zone. That means the daily is a fine-tuned zone inside weekly zone. Okay. And if the weekly is having weekly EMA confluence, then those stocks are even more high probability. Among these 4, how many we can find? Let us verify. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence or not, because it is bearish trade setup. 1 stock is filtered out of 4. So this one is even more high probability trade setup, supported stock. This is LTF and ITF specific. Next we should look for LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. So I'm going back, removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, daily with weekly. Second filter, daily supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. Third filter, weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 3 stocks out of 4. In these 3 stocks, these supply zones are overlapped with, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly. Both together again overlapped with monthly. But monthly trends, downtrend, how many stocks we are having? Only 1, remaining 2 sideways. Sideways EMA confluence doesn't make any sense. So that's why we don't look into first one and second one. If the third one is having monthly monthly supply zone with monthly EMA, then the third stock is even more high probability trade setup, supported zone. So this daily supply zone. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, at monthly time frame, I'm checking monthly supply zone having monthly EMA confluence or not. At the same time, trend, because 2 stocks we have sideways trend at monthly, we don't want them. So that's why the trend should be downtrend, because it is bearish trade setup. Trend should be down, HTF trade. We got that stock. This stock is filtered. That means this stock, this daily supply zone overlapped with weekly, both together overlapped with monthly, and that monthly supply zone is having monthly EMA confluence. So this is how we should understand. So this is bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Okay, next we will look for weekly income trades. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Entry zone, demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup, 75 minutes time frame. I am selecting bullish. Zone achievement, violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. Apart from these 2, third filter also we are going to set. What is that? This 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So that's why in the pierced count, in this parameter, at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. Why demand zone? Because here we selected 75 minutes demand zone. The filters will be applied to whichever the values you selected in the first 2 parameters. On that only the filters will be applied. That is how our software is designed. Now let me filter the stocks. We got 2 stocks. Currently only 2 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Among all the 240 stocks, we got only these 2. But these 2, are they having some probability to get success or not, we need to verify. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. So that means both the zones 75 and daily are overlapped with each other, zone confluence. Or you can say 75-minute zone is a fine-tuned zone inside daily zone. Okay, fine. Apart from that, you should also check whether because these zones are part of the daily zone and daily trend is up, if the daily zone is having daily EMA confluence, then these 75-minute zones might be having even much more additional probability to get the success. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, a daily time frame, because 75-minute zone is overlapped with daily. That's why we are looking for daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not. Anyway, daily trend is up. So one stock is filtered. So this is having even more high probability to get the success, this zone. Okay, this is based on LTF and ITF. Next, let us look for LTF, ITF, HTF zone confluence. How many are there? I am removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, I am setting 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. Second filter, 75-minute zone is having overlapped with weekly zone or not. Third filter, daily demand zone is overlapped with weekly demand zone or not. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, demand zone confluence, we don't have any stocks. That's it. So this is about bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd enhancer score is 12. And 75-minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, 75 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 21 stocks. Currently 21 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade, and all these entry time frame zones are 75-minute supply zones. First 16 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 21 stocks. Okay, now let us further filter based on this zone confluence. First filter is LTF, ITF, supply zone confluence. So let us verify how many of these 21 supply zones are having ITF supply zone confluence. That is 75 minutes with daily supply zone confluence. So I am setting the filter 75-minute supply zone having confluence with daily supply zone or not. With this filter, we got 19 stocks out of 21, 19 are filtered. First 16 in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 19. Out of these 19, how many are having daily supply zones having daily EMA confluence? Why daily supply zone with a daily EMA? Because 75-minute supply zone is overlapped with daily supply zone. That means 75 is a fine-tuned zone inside daily. If the daily supply zone is having daily EMA, then that zone could be having even higher success rate. So let's verify. So I'm going back in the EMA confluence at a daily time frame. I'm setting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. So with this filter, we got 11 stocks. So these 11 supply zones are having a high probability to get the success. But this is based on LTF and ITF and ITF EMA confluence. Next we will look for LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone Confluence supported stocks. Removing EMA filter. In the supply zone Confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. Second filter, 75-minute supply zone with weekly supply zone Confluence. Daily supply zone Confluence with weekly supply zone. It is the third filter with all the 3 filters. We got 6 stocks. That means these 75-minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. Both together again overlapped with weekly supply zone. And weekly means HTF. And how many stocks are having downtrend? 3 stocks. If those 3 stocks, if any of them are having weekly supply zone with weekly EMA, then those stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence, at a weekly time frame, because 75-minute zone is a part of the daily, both together overlapped with weekly. So we are checking weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence or not. At the same time, weekly trend should not be sideways. So that is the reason why in the trend I am selecting down, because it is bearish trade setup. So none of those zones are having EMA Confluence. So this is about a bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next we will look into daily income trade. First, daily income trade bullish trade setup. Entry time frame 15 minutes. Entry zone demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup, at 15 minutes time frame I am selecting bullish. And zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. And the 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So that's why in the pierced count, at 15 minutes time frame I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count is 0. Pierced count 0 means zone is not pierced. And zone achievement, okay, we set. So all the 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Now we got 3 stocks. So only these 3 stocks are currently supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. And entry time frame is 15 minutes demand zones. Out of these 3 15 minutes demand zone, how many are having ITF Confluence? Let us verify. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone Confluence. This is the one. Two stocks are filtered. In these 2 stocks, 15 minutes demand zone is overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is up. So let's verify if 75 minutes demand zone is having daily EMA Confluence or not. If Confluence is there, then those stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. So in the EMA Confluence, 75 minutes time frame, checking 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. So none of those stocks are having EMA Confluence. Fine. Next we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF zone Confluence supported stocks. First filter is already enabled. Second filter 15 minutes with daily zone Confluence. Third 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got both the stocks. So in both these stocks, these 15 minute zones, demand zones are part of the 75. Both together again part of the daily zone. And daily trend is up in only one stock. If this stock is having daily EMA Confluence, then it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. That means daily demand zone with daily EMA confluence. Let us verify. Daily demand zone with daily, and trend should not be sideways on daily. It should be up because it is bullish trade setup. So that one stock is filtered. So that means it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. So this is a bullish trade setup for a daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame 15 minutes. Entries on supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ. Minimum order enhancer score 12. And peers to count at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. All three filters are applied to 15 minutes supply zone. We got 21 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So all these 21 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minute supply zones. Out of these 21 stocks for these 15 minute supply zones, how many are having ITF supply zone confluence? Let us verify. In the supply zone confluence, 15 minute supply zone having confluence with 75 minute supply zone or not. We are verifying. Sixteen stocks are filtered. Scrolling the list down. But out of these 16, because out of these 16, the 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. And how many of these 75 minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence? Let us verify. If any of the stocks are there, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, 75 minutes time frame. Why 75? Because 15 minute supply zone overlapped with 75 minutes supply zone. That's why we are looking for 75 minute supply zone having 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. 3 stocks are filtered. So these 3 are even more high probability trade setup supported zones. This is based on LTF and ITF and ITF EMA confluence. Next, we will look for LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence. Removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Second, 15 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. Third, 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters are enabled, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence, we got 8 stocks. In all these 8 stocks, these 15 minutes supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. Both together again overlapped with daily supply zone. That means these 15 minute supply zones are fine-tuned zones inside the daily zones. And if those daily zones are having daily EMA confluence, they could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. But some of these stocks are sideways. We have to eliminate them, second and third. Remaining all are downtrend. So let's verify. In the EMA confluence at a daily time frame, I am checking daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. And trend on the daily time frame should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. Here zone violation trend. And daily time frame should be downtrend. So with these filters, we got 3 stocks. These three are even more high probability trade setups supported supply zones, 15-minute supply zones. So this is a bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Next we will look into bullish and bearish trade setups for hourly income trades. So let me start with bullish trade setup, hourly income trade. Entry time frame 5 minutes. Entry zone is demand zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 5 minutes. I am selecting bullish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum order enhancer score 12. And the pierced count should be 0 on 5 minutes time frame. So minimum value 0, maximum value 0. All the three filters are applied to 5 minutes demand zone. With these filters, we got 5 stocks. And with these 5 stocks are currently supporting bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. But remember, hourly income trade success rate is very, very low. Next, let us further filter based on LTF and ITF zone confluence. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. With this filter, out of 5, 4 stocks are filtered. Mostly they may not be having EMA confluence, but let me check, because of 15 minutes EMA confluence zone finding is not easy. So in the EMA confluence, 15 minutes having daily EMA confluence or not, 15 minutes demand zone. Oh, one stock is filtered. Excellent. So compared to others, this is even more high probability. EMA confluence is there. It doesn't mean it gets success. But probability is more compared to the others. But remember, overall, hourly income trade zones are very sensitive, highly sensitive. If market volatility is high, easily they will be violated. If volatility is low, mostly we get good trades. Okay. Next, LTF, ITF, HTF specific demand zone confluence we will filter. Remove EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next 5 minutes with 75 minutes zone confluence. 15 minutes with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these 5 minute zones overlapped with 15, both together overlapped with 75 minutes zone. And 75 minutes trend is up in both the stocks. Let's check if any of these 75 minutes zone is having daily EMA confluence or not. At 75, I am checking demand zone with daily EMA, 75 minutes demand zone. With this filter, because both are uptrend, so none of them are filtered. So this is bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame 5 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 5 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum order enhancer score 12. And 5 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, 5 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With all the 3 filters, we got 13 stocks. Currently these 13 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame zones are 5 minute supply zones. Out of these 13, how many 5 minute supply zones are having ITF confluence? That is with 15 minutes and 5 minute supply zone confluence. Let us set that filter in the supply zone confluence. That is 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone confluence. Enable the filter. With this filter, out of 13, we got 11 stocks. In these 11 stocks, 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. Let's check if any of the 15-minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting the filter 15-minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. So none of those supply zones are having, 15-minute supply zones are having EMA. Okay, now let us look for LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. Removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. This is the first filter already enabled. Second filter 5 minutes with 75-minute confluence. Next 15-minute supply zone with 75-minute supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence, we got 6 stocks. That means in all these 6 stocks, these 5-minute supply zones are overlapped with 15-minute supply zone. Both together again overlapped with 75-minute supply zone. That means all these 5-minute supply zones are fine-tuned zones inside the 75-minute zones. Okay, now all these are all part of 75. 75-minute trend is down in the last 3 stocks. If any of these 3 stocks are having 75-minute supply zone with daily EMA confluence, probably these zones could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. It's not last 3, 4th and 5th. Last one is also sideways. Okay, in the EMA confluence, 75 minutes time frame, checking 75-minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence, and trend on the 75 minutes should not be sideways, it should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. So none of the stocks are having EMA confluence. So this is about bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. We have completed all the income trades. In the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list, indices, remaining all are equity stocks. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. If any of these stocks you want to refer, pause the video. After that, you can proceed further. I am scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.